Welcome to PK Woodworking. And we got some good news this week, and it's also been a bit of a week in the news. But the good news is it sounds like we're going to be able to turn this shop into an ADU. That's going to kind of accelerate the things that I'm going after to get accomplished and done in the shop so we can move on to turning this into an actual ADU. So you might know, see behind me, I've got a couple of 35-gallon barrels that I picked up from a local place selling them off, and I'm going to use those to put like clamps in and tools, etc. that'll keep it from getting crushed, easy to transport, and cheaper than buying boxes. So that's going on right now. But what we're here today for really is we're going to be making some face frames like we talked about. So we've got a cabinet up there, we got a cabinet behind me here, and we also got the slop sink, and we're gonna make those face frames today. So what I need to do is just go over a little bit of like my methodology, pick some lumber, we'll figure this out. So hang on. I ripped up all of this white oak a while ago. So I think I'm at 1.5 inch width for my stiles and the top rails, and then the bottom rail is going to be 2 3/4, so it kind of covers up that bottom piece that's there that you mount the cabinet to the wall with and kind of create some structure with. I need 4 that are 32.5 inches long, 2 27 inches long, 3 35 inches long, 2 12 inches long, 2 30 inches long, 1 60 that's 1.5, and then 1 60 that's 2 3/4 for that bottom piece. And then I need 2 18-inch pieces, 1 48-inch piece, and then 1 48-inch piece that's again that 2 3/4, which means I'm gonna probably have to do some glue up here. I'm doing a full overlaid door, and drawers, I guess. So I'm not gonna put a center piece down these cabinets that are 48 inches wide, and I got one here that's 60 inches wide, which means I'm gonna end up with a 30-inch wide door, which is a little less than 30, 28 and change, whatever, which is too wide if you're gonna make it for somebody. But for me in a actual shop, I want it that wide because I want to be able to fit whatever I want to fit inside of it. It just is what it is. Let me start picking out some wood, and I'll probably put in some kind of a time lapse while I'm doing that, and then we'll move on. Picked all the pieces. First I gotta do a glue up, then we'll move on. Glue up is done. Didn't think you cared to look at that. They're in clamps right now, so I got an hour, give or take, before I can take those out. And then they're gonna probably need a little bit of planing, maybe surfacing. I might do all of them before I start. But what I wanna do is to cut all these pieces out. First thing I gotta do is to switch from a rip blade to a cross cut blade. So hang on. Hold, please. Okay. Hey, hey. I'm only going to show doing the face frame for the slop sink because the other ones, the glue up isn't quite done yet. So I'll do those other ones here first. So I'll pick the best face, put that face up, and then I'll put 2 holes in each one. And yeah, I'll use that side. So a couple of things. I use the screws from Castle. They're like a hex drive, 1.25 inches for 3/4. So I just kind of start by laying this all out and starting the screws, which kind of makes it easier. This is going to be super controversial, but I'm not going to use glue. Yeah, there's a reason. Like if you get a split or it moves or whatever, when it's glued, it seems to affect the finish more than others. I'm just going to clear coat this thing anyway. The screws are super strong to begin with, but I'm just going to like start the screws first. I know some people think it's a waste of time to do that, but it's just what I do. You put the good looking face down and you line it up square. If you're doing a lot of work, you would make templates that would go in between here. And some people make shelves underneath here and they'll make like 24-inch templates, you know, whatever they want to use to put the rail that they'll put in for like a drawer front or something like that if they're going to do that. But this is a one-off. So I'm not going to cut a sheet of plywood just to make myself happy. I'm actually going to flip this thing around after I get this bottom part done to do the top against the bottom of this. And then I only have one middle thing that's underneath the sink, and that I will, maybe I'll make a measuring. Who knows? We'll see. See how I'm feeling when I do that. Screws in. Okay. Some basic stuff that you ought to know if you do pocket screws anyway. 6-inch bit to make it easy so you get the right angle when you go in. There's a little holster there, so when I get this up to where I want. Okay, so I'm just gonna bring it along and I'm gonna take this first one and I'm gonna clamp the piece up against this piece. I'm gonna pull it down wherever I want it, and then I'm gonna clamp that one. And you could clamp ones farther up if you want, but then I'm gonna get this one as close as I can, and then I'm gonna clamp them both down so they're together, then pull it off, and hopefully you can see this. Maybe I can get a little closer on the other side. Hold on. There you go. So, there you go. We're in. Now I take it off. Helps to get a square so that when you do these next ones, they stay square. Now I'm doing white oak, so you saw it come apart when I did it. It's just white oak. It's going into white oak. It's going to be tough. Square in, clamp it, clamp it. Okay. Now this one, we'll see if this one decides to do the same thing. Maybe you can see, maybe this is better. Perfect. There we go. Perfect. Now I'm going to take them off. Move it over just a little bit here so I'm on both pieces. And a little farther over. And then, there we go. I'm gonna come over here. go. Come over here. Again, get my, I went a little too far in on that one, so it's pushing it out. There we go. So now I'm gonna get my square, make sure I feel good about that. Maybe I'm gonna come down a little farther. There we go. There we go. Square. And there's 2 in. I'm gonna get roasted for the no glue. It's okay. We're still gonna be square. There we go. There we go. All right. Get our square in. Now we're on the end again, and I went too far. You can always tell if you went too far because it's going to make the style stick out. So just keep your fingers away. You definitely don't want your fingers under that. Last one. Okay, there you go. There's the bottom. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip it around to do the top. So you can see the thing's gonna be pretty stiff already. I'm gonna flip it around like so, except not try to do that. So I'm gonna get it back up here against this back side and do it kind of in reverse order. So down here. Now when I was doing the pocket screws, I already decided like what side was good before I was doing the pocket screws. I hope you saw that when I was doing the pocket screws. So then I'm gonna just come down here, put some screws back in it again. The screws from Castle have a really small head, and so they really, I think, just make for easier work of this. And if you buy them in bulk, they're cheaper than anybody else's as well. I like them. Not sponsored. Although I did get to talk to them at length at AWFS about retrofitting these older Castle face frame tables with these clamps so that they're useful again and people don't have to spring for another, you know, $8,000–9,000 face frame table when the clamps wear out on these ones because they're no longer sold. Okay, back on over. Now in this particular instance, I don't have to worry about whether it's square or not, because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull this against here, and then I'm gonna clamp, and I'm gonna clamp, and I'm gonna clamp, and now I actually wanna go up a little higher than that, right there. So there's not really much anything you can do. I actually wanna go a little farther over. There we go. Now we know we're square. There we go. Now we're gonna move over to this one, and we're gonna center, make sure we're there. There we go. There we go. Drive these in. Right, move a little farther over. Get it in. Now you can see when you're jamming on these things, you can really get moving fast. Every once in a while it'll pick up like that. sure I got you in the shot for the last ones. There we go. Okay, on to my last one. And then I got to come up with that spacer I was telling you guys about for the center section. Okay, face frame done. Now in the center section here, I'm gonna have a space here for where I'm gonna have the sink and then a false drawer over it. So let me go measure that real quick and figure out where it's gonna be. I checked, gonna do 14 down from the top, and then this will be the actual space where the cabinet opening will be. So let's get this done. And again, people would do spacers sometimes in here, but luckily, you know, it's a pretty tight tolerances, so it seems like it just wants to hang out there on its own, so no problem. So let's get this one up here. Looks like we kept ourselves the same. Let's make sure. No. Came down just a tad. There we go. Let's sink these. All right. So as you can see now, great strong face frame. Everything's really flush because you're clamping it to the face, so you don't have to worry about a whole lot of sanding, although I probably will send it through the wide belt. Let me show you what it looks like actually on the cabinet. Here is the slop sink in all of its glory. And you can see when I get this up, like so, you know, that's the plan right there. I don't know where I'm at width-wise over here, but there we go. Yeah, so I'm gonna glue and clamp it on there. There's gonna be doors down here, drawers over here, drawers over here. And that's how we're gonna roll. And that's how easy it is to do a face frame when you have a pocket screw machine and you got a face frame table. And there you go. Thanks for watching. I know it took me a while to actually show how this thing works, but I would just tell you that, man, if someone around you is selling one of these dirt cheap, pick it up. Do a little retrofit. Yeah, it takes up a lot of space, but it's really useful. And when I get the clamps built for them to clamp the wood down so I can actually do like lumber on it also, like clamping wood and gluing up wood on it, that will be really a positive. So thanks for sticking around. And if you stayed all the way to the end, I mean, come on, like and subscribe. Have a great day. We'll see you in the next one.